Hey everyone, maybe you can hear the very loud dehumidifiers running. Remember how last week we were a little late with our episode because Kyle's house flooded? This week it's my turn. I had a pipe burst in my office. You can see it on social media if you follow me. And it created quite the flood. We now have a bunch of dehumidifiers running. They've cut open my wall. The whole studio that I built to video and audio record all of my shows and things that I do is not only in disarray, but is completely dismantled. And half of the stuff, my computer, it's wet. It's just wet. In honor of the fact that both Kyle and I have been flooded in the last week, we're going to re-air episode 37, D&DP and Chickpea TNT from June of 2024. I think you're going to enjoy it. I remember this episode very fondly, and I thought it was a really fun one to make. But in the meantime, take a shower, because I don't have water at my house, so I can't, and I really want to.
Hello and welcome to another episode of That's Absurd. Please elaborate. We call it science and comedy show, where we take questions from you, listeners, each other, guests. The weirder, the stranger, the better. And then we do our best to actually find real, true, mostly correct answers.
Mostly
you
correct.
Know what I'm talking.
That's a little too
I'm
accurate.
hedging here. I'm actually mostly correct might be too generous, dare I say it.
That's funny.
I am one of your hosts. I am Julian Huguet.
Hello, and I am Trace Dominguez, the other one of your hosts. We are both science communicators. We are very happy and excited to answer these silly questions. And thank you for sending them in. If you want to send us a question, go down into the show notes. You can see all sorts of different ways, from emailing us, going to our website. You can even call and leave us a voicemail and ask your question, and hopefully we'll answer it on the show.
That was very nice, taking care of business. I have one more business to care for.
Oh.
Happy belated birthday.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, we're recording this just after my birthday.
Yeah, how was it?
I did a lot of stuff this weekend. I went to Monster Jam, saw some monster trucks.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Something deep in my brain that saw that and was like, cool.
John Legend was there, as was Dax Shepard.
What, were they driving?
No, they were just there enjoying
just hanging
themselves, having fun. They introduced a car called Sparkle Smash, which is shaped like a unicorn. You know, for the little girls out there.
Yeah.
Because they can't enjoy the Undertaker or Gravedigger or any of the other ones.
Feels mean to call a unicorn a monster, though. That somehow doesn't feel right. But I guess it is.
It kind of is, I guess.
Just a very pretty monster.
Depends on your definition of monster, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was really awesome. And then I was doing a mix of highbrow, lowbrow birthday. So I did Monster Jam on Saturday, and then on Sunday we went wine tasting, and it was great.
Ooh. So you really covered the whole spectrum of your personality there.
Two
just like get it all.
Very different hats. On Sunday it was a lot of big floppy hats, and on Saturday it was a lot of hats shaped like food items and trucker hats and things. So just very different.
Foam. A lot of foam in those hats.
Yeah. But it was really fun. So thank you for that.
It's the more foam in the outfit, the less classy as a rule.
Unless you're at the Met Gala, I guess. And then
you got a point.
All sorts of structural.
And it's a statement.
Yeah, architectural foam. But it was fun. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I'm glad. Happy birthday, bud.
Thanks.
Well, also, so my birthday present to you is you get to do the first question this week. I know, you're welcome.
A lovely birthday present. It's really a gift for you, though, because I think this is one of my favorite answers that I've put together in the podcast so far.
No, get out of town.
I'm so excited to do this. Okay. I think you're really going to like it. So my question was from listener Luke, who asks, can you pee on an object that is so cold that the act of peeing on it makes you colder? Yep.
What?
That's what he asked. Can you pee on something that's so cold that while peeing on it, you get colder? And he elaborates, I was playing D&D with my kiddos, 11 and 16, and I trapped a key in a block of ice. And instead of using their torch or violence, my youngest asked to pee on it. My Dungeon Master brain went into overdrive, seeing if there was any way that I could do a point of damage for this, and realized it was a silly thought and moved on. But where else should I send these silly thoughts but to us here at That's Absurd. Please
To
elaborate.
us.
And Luke, thank you for that elaboration. Yes.
We are the aggregators of silly thoughts.
So, Dungeons, Dragons, Children, and Strange Bodily Functions. I'm obviously in for that. Julian, are you in for that?
That hits all the highlights.
So
Yeah.
you're saying you're in.
Oh, like a gelatinous cube. I walked into that one.
So anyway, first, Luke, I'm glad that your kid is this good at D&D.
Can't spell dad without D&D.
Accurate. Cannot wait to do D&D with my own kid. Obviously, your kid is chaotic good, which is super fun. But we really have two things here. Firstly, we've got the thermal conduction of pee.
Right.
And then we have, the speed of heat. So pee is fascinating. It's actually really neat. It's 95% water, and then the remaining 5% in decreasing order is urea,
Ooh, yeah.
chloride, sodium, potassium, creatinine. I always say that one. Creatinine? Creatinine. Dissolved ions.
One of those is right.
Proteins.
You've definitely got one correct.
Look, I can try a few other ways. Creatinine? I don't know. And then hormones and stuff. The main component that isn't water is urea, which is like an organic compound. It's a result of protein synthesis. So really cool.
That's how our body gets rid of nitrogen.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Because when we consume other things, there's a lot of nitrogen that makes it up, and it turns into ammonia, which is toxic after we process it. So our kidneys have to turn it into something that won't
kill us,
and that we can get rid of easily.
Yes.
And that's urea.
Yes, actually, great. Now I don't have to read all those parts of my notes. That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
And urea is actually made for fertilizer as well, like on industrial scales. So it's a really important molecule that we know a lot about. And so the urine that is inside of your body, it collects in your bladder. You can hold between 500 milliliters and 700 milliliters. And then there's that old adage that pee is sterile, which isn't actually true. It's only sterile when it's in the body, in the bladder. Once it travels through the urethra, it's picking up all the stuff that's in the walls of that, so it's no longer sterile. And when you pee, most of the people who answer this question in physics forums are trying to find out if when you pee, you lose heat because you're losing mass. But the pee is the same heat as the inside of your body. So you're not getting colder just by peeing. You do have less mass. So maybe, I guess, less heat capacity. But generally speaking, you're not colder. The cold that you would be losing, like the energy, you'd have to do a lot of calculus to figure out exactly how much energy you're imparting and losing and whatever else. And I didn't want to get into that too much. But either way, the important thing, urine is mostly water. Water is a good conductor of heat. It conducts at about 25 times faster than air can conduct heat, which is pretty cool. Although in a pure material, according to one answer on Stack Exchange, so, you can use that however you want, heat can move at about the speed of sound through a pure conductor of heat. So it moves pretty fast.
But water's also, it's got a high heat capacity.
It does,
right?
Yes.
Which means it takes a lot of energy to actually heat water.
Right. It can hold heat without coming up in temperature too much.
This is why the Earth isn't just
on fire
all the time, because the oceans are really good at absorbing heat.
And so instead we're talking about, during climate change, we're talking about the world getting hotter, but we're really starting to talk about the oceans getting hotter, and that's causing all these problems with algal blooms and life that can't live in this warmer ocean, or it's changing migration patterns because the water is holding on to the heat. And at some point, it will not. And then that heat will just go elsewhere. But either way, let's talk heat. So that's number 2.
Okay.
Heat is basically energy. We've talked about this on the podcast before. What? Oh, I just finished with...
You said that's number 2.
No, I finished with number 1. Pee.
Well, I thought we were talking about number 1 the whole time for this
Now
question.
We're talking about
when does
heat.
he talk about number...
Oh, I see what you mean. God, dang.
Sorry.
Julian.
I was waiting.
I did not follow that at all.
No.
Okay. So heat is basically energy. We've talked about it on the podcast before. What 3 ways does heat move around? Julian.
There's convection, conduction, radiation.
And so in this case, with urine, we're talking about
conduction.
The physical heat transfer through physical contact. A campfire, it's the logs making the ground underneath the logs hot. Then there's convection, which is hot air rising and swirling around. So And there's radiation, which is the infrared heat given off by a campfire or whatever else. So conduction is physical contact. You have to actually touch the thing in order to move it. Is pee solid?
I mean, if it is, you should see a doctor.
Is it a solid stream of thing?
I'm like every particles in contact to some degree.
Like, could you
like
transfer heat by conduction through a stream of urine?
I mean, yeah, my thinking is your problem is the particles are in motion, like collectively to this block with the key in it.
Yeah.
So the heat would have to, like the conduction would have to travel faster up the stream than the stream is going down.
Right.
But as to just answer your question, yeah, like the stream is, unless you're like at the end of the, when you're just doing like the spurts.
Yeah.
Like the little, if it's one continuous stream, then yeah, right? Is it? I don't know. Is it?
I love it when you start so confident and then immediately get inconfident.
I have the opposite of the Dunning-Kruger effect, where the more I talk, the more I'm like, wait. You consider you might be an idiot real quick.
Okay, Julian. Steve Mold, who I love.
Yeah.
Really great science communicator. Great. He has an excellent video on the shape of a urine stream.
I thought you were going to say the shape of water. And I was like, he's doing movie reviews now?
He's doing movie reviews, yes. He's doing Avatar Land of Water. Land of Water. Is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called. Anyway.
If it is, that's terrible.
Look at
Go on.
Video that I sent you.
Okay,
so you see that stream that he's got there? That is...
Yeah, what is this, like corn syrup?
So he used a thicker solution to get a better result so you can see it better. I think it's actually a mixture of like laundry detergent and water. But yeah, this is what your fluid looks like coming out of your body. And this is consistent across everyone who pees, no matter if you're standing up or sitting down, no matter how big or small or whatever the orifice that you're peeing out of is. Your pee ends up making this kind of chain shape, which he says doesn't really have a name, which is cool. And it's essentially like kind of I don't know, like an oval that's connected to an oval that's got a quarter turn, that's connected to an oval that's got a quarter turn, that's connected to an oval that's got a quarter turn. And eventually, it is laminar flow at first, and then it breaks up eventually because water is sticky, but it's not that sticky. So once out of its body, it interacts with the air and with the gravity and wind and whatever else, and water surface tension is pretty strong, but it can't hold up to that. So it's no longer touching once it's out of your body for a short period. So unless you're really close to that block of ice, if you're standing up and peeing, you probably can't do it. If you're crouching and peeing, I don't know the sex of your kiddos, 11 and 16, Luke, but if one of them crouches to pee, or their character does, maybe they could pee on it.
Feel free not to follow up with us to specify, by the way.
Yeah, we don't
please
need to know. I'm just telling you to give you a variety of, since I don't know all the information.
Yeah.
So Luke's main question here is basically moot, though, because if pee turns from a solid, kind of pretty cool looking laminar flow, and then it gets to these broken up drops in a trench coat that we call a stream, then the heat transfer isn't going to come back up the stream, right? The heat is going to be imparted to the thing that the urine is landing on, but the heat's not going to be able to move up the stream. Also, I sort of touched on this earlier, the heat needs to be touching things to move in any direction, and it doesn't move that fast. And so you're talking about moving quite a bit of fluid in a very short period of time, and you're constantly imparting new heat to that fluid. So again, the question isn't going to really have a satisfying solution, not as satisfying as the actual peeing anyway. So
when you hear the end of this answer, you won't go like,
yeah, definitely not. So we're talking about
maybe like a little shake.
Yeah, do a little. Okay. So we're talking about a 37 Celsius human and a block of ice at about 0 Celsius, let's say just frozen. An absolute 0 block of ice would be losing heat to everything around it. There is something to be said for like when something is colder or hotter, the heat transfer effect is faster. If you put a really hot thing on something, it will transfer more heat more quickly into the thing you put it on. And same with a really cold thing. So an absolute 0 block of ice, assuming you could maintain that, would be losing heat to the air, to the ground, to everything around it, not specifically trying to put heat up the urine stream.
Would it be more accurate to say it would be absorbing heat from everything around it?
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I said losing, but what I really mean is losing cold, but that's actually absorbing heat. So, yeah, good point. So, anyway, Luke's kiddo pees on it with new heat, and that heat is transferred into the cold thing. The cold doesn't move up the pee stream. Cold doesn't go anywhere. Cold is just absence of heat. So...
Ooh, philosophical.
Yeah. So, if you had like a solid jumping fountain of pee, some kind of magical situation, because this is Dungeons and Dragons, an abyss alien of pee, where it's just a solid column of water, then yeah, you put a cold thing there, it's going to eventually make the whole column of water cold, but you basically just put ice in a water bottle at that point. So, I'm just going to give you one little hint, Luke. If you did want to give him a point of damage, just make it more difficult to pee on the ice block. Maybe they're clumsy or tired or scared. They get bumped and they pee on themselves because the human body doesn't have wet receptors. We don't actually feel moisture. We feel temperature and pressure. So the reason you can tell that you are colder is because water has evaporated off of you. So you could have, if you wanted to do like a point of damage, had the person pee on themselves. And that would have been fine. Works whether you're crouching or standing up. But the real question that Luke didn't ask is, could pee melt a block of ice in order to receive a key? And for that, Julian, I need you to open this link. I'm going to send
no, I didn't like how that was prefaced at all. Hey, I'm going to send you on the internet. While we're talking about pee, let me send you this link.
Open this link.
Is a terrible opener.
Open this link.
All right, I'm clicking it anyway because I have no sense of self-preservation. Oh, it's a D20.
It's a D20.
Yeah.
It's a D20.
Okay, it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Julian the Bard drank a smidge too much mead. Before his dungeon adventure, he did not take heed, and now here he is, standing over the key. In a block of ice, oh, wary is he. Can Bard Julian pee on the key in the block, or will he die, besmirched by sunblight's Zardarok?
Shall I roll? Roll for initiative?
You're standing in a dark room.
Okay.
You're out of breath.
It was destined to happen. This is now a D&D podcast. Welcome, everybody.
Hello. Your pet and friend, Pepierre, a demi-wolf, is with you. Around her neck is a medallion of pure chardolin that you stole from the lord of this keep while he slept off the large quantity of mead that you shared with him, plying him to sleep so that you could steal the medallion. You ran down a hallway out of the dining area where you were sharing said mead, and you entered a room, shut the door behind you, and now you're here. What do you do?
With this block of ice key?
Oh, no, there's no block. You don't know if there's a block of ice key. You're just in a room.
Oh, I'm just in a room?
In a dark room. You're out of breath. You have to pee.
I look around the room.
Okay, go ahead and roll for initiative there.
Okay. And 17.
Wow, that's a good roll. Okay.
It is a good roll.
The room is dark and cold. The walls are made of a smooth, cool, black-blue stone. Behind you is a thick wooden door that you just entered the room through, and in the middle of the room is a pedestal. On the pedestal is a block of ice lit by a small hole in the ceiling, so you can see in the room. Across from you is another larger door with a keyhole. There's something on the floor near the other door. You can't quite make it out. The floor is smooth, not too worn. And you notice a few divots here and there on the floor, and generally speaking, there's a bunch of barrels off in one corner near you that look like they have some spigots on them.
I'm fighting the D&D player urge to do everything you don't want me to do first.
Do whatever you want, dude. This is a podcast now.
I romance the block of ice. I try and warm its cold heart. As the bard.
You can try that if you want.
I'm drawn to the spigot. Why are there spigots? I'm going to inspect the spigots.
Okay, go over there and inspect the spigots. You can roll if you want for that.
Yeah. Oh my God, 19.
Oh, great. These are wine barrels, reused dwarven oak wine barrels. They're empty. The spigots are all in excellent condition and seem to work. The barrels have no lids on the top of them, so they're open at one end, and the spigot is at the other end, but there's nothing in any of the barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of just wasted your 19 on that, but that's fine.
I did. I'm going to regress toward the mean real hard on this next roll. I can feel it in my bones. All right. Let's check out this block of ice.
Okay. You inspect the ice. You want to roll for that too?
Yeah. 14.
Okay.
Oh, boy. They've all been above 10 so
Yeah,
far.
honestly, not bad. This is a pedestal with a block of ice. And inside this perfectly clear block is an old key. The ice appears to be about the size of a
I
softball.
pee on it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. You didn't even go and inspect the other thing at the other side of the...
Silence, Dungeon Master.
You hear a blood-curdling cry from the dining hall on the other side of the door.
Hold on, I'm peeing.
No, you're not yet. It seems that
No, not yet.
Zardarok Sunblight has realized you've stolen his precious medallion. Muffled sounds of shouting in Durgan, that's the language they speak, I looked it up, are coming from behind the door, which, by the way, is unlocked.
Oh, no.
I probably should have mentioned that, but you didn't really inspect the door, so...
Well, I better pee
yeah,
quick.
maybe you should go inspect the door first so you don't
Maybe
die.
he's going to be too drunk to know how to operate a door.
Oh, no, he's a pretty big deal. You should probably check
Okay,
it out.
okay.
So you don't
let's
die
go
or
inspect
you'll never
that door.
get to pee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I hear the last thing you do is you die.
I mean, yes, but I don't think you're going to be able to hit the block then. Okay, so
Okay.
roll for initiative
Okay,
to
okay.
inspect the door.
Okay, I'm going to the door. 18.
Ooh,
Oh,
wow,
no.
that's pretty good. Okay, you inspect the door. There are no traps, no keyholes, no door handle, no way to open the door from your side at all. There is no lock that you can see, except for a light-duty hook lock, like one of those ones on a latrine. You could probably hold the door for a few minutes, but you're not strong enough to do it. It's quite heavy. There are, however, 2 L brackets on either side of the door that look like they would allow you to bar it if you can find something long and heavy.
Okay, so I'm going to search the room for something long and heavy.
Okay, great. Yeah, you should definitely do that. Do you want to roll for that, or do you just want to you just want to walk around the room?
13.
Okay, that's fine. You walk around the room, and the barrels are on your left as you enter, but across the room is another door that's locked.
Oh, my God.
If only you had a key.
God, if only I hadn't wasted all this time.
Next to the door is a skeleton in some tattered blankets. Leaning next to the wall is a discarded, rusty, heavy metal pike.
Cool. Cool.
Do you want to search?
Probably
Do you
unimportant.
want to search the body? You don't have to, but you can if you want.
No, I'm gonna, unless you put a lot of effort into what's on the body. I'm just gonna put the pike in the L bracket.
Okay. You hear the pike, or you grab the pike and you go put it in the L bracket. I don't think you really have to roll for that.
I rolled.
Oh,
You want to know what I rolled?
yeah.
I rolled a 1.
Oh shit.
I knew it was gonna happen.
You drop the pike on your foot.
Okay, good. Oh, that's
It
it.
hurts really bad.
Okay.
I'm being nice because we need you to
Thank
solve
you.
the riddle of this adventure.
Okay.
You lose 1 point of damage when you trip,
There you go.
fall, and smash your face on the floor. Your nose is bleeding. Your familiar demi-wolf Pepier licks your face and makes you feel better.
Good boy. Thank you.
She starts pulling the rusty pike toward the door because you are obviously too still drunk from the mead to be able to handle it. The pounding on the door, you can hear people in the hallway on the other side of the door. Several voices in Durgar, the language of the underdwarves, are on the other side. And you can hear Zardock shouting in Durgan to break the door down. So you need to melt the ice. I'm just telling you now to unlock the other door so you can get the heck out of here. But you've now blocked the door with the pike.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
Thank you.
goodness.
Thanks, Pepier.
So,
Okay.
what are you going to do?
It just dawned on me that's a reference to my dog, Pepper.
It just now.
I thought it was like a Pepe Le Pew
No.
reference for some reason. I
just-
was trying to connect
Pepper
the
wasn't a
dots.
very good D&D name.
Pepier.
So Pepier the demi-wolf, as opposed to Pepper the half Chihuahua.
the half Chihuahua.
That doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
It's not. They're not a very like fantasy world dog Chihuahuas, are they?
Not really. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So you need the key. What are you going to do, Julian?
Wait. I have an idea. I throw the dog at
Oh, no, it's a wolf-sized dog. It's quite large.
I pee on it,
Okay, you're gonna pee on it.
obviously.
All right, sidebar here, some science.
No!
Did you know that all animals pee at about the same rate? Did you know that?
That's good to know.
Most mammals take about 20 seconds to pee, even with radically different volumes of urine. So elephants have about 160 liters of urine, which is like 42 gallons of urine. They pee it all out in about 22 seconds, whereas a bison has about 5.5 gallons of urine, and they take 20 seconds, and even a very large dog at 1.5 liters or 0.4 gallons, about 20 seconds. Humans...
Does that include the time it takes the dog to spin around? Because my dog does that, and it takes forever.
Just the peeing part. And then finally, humans, of course, 700 milliliters in about 20 seconds. So, you know you have about 20 seconds of pee. If you're going to melt a block of ice with a key in it, so to melt ice requires 334 joules per gram to melt it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to calculate the change in heat that your hot body liquid is going to put into the ice. Okay, so we're going to keep it simple and assume both are water. I think that's easier than calculating all the little things. And 95% water is fine. So.
Good enough. What's 5% urea between friends, right?
Yeah, totes. So do you know the change in heat equation by chance?
Yeah. Oh man, this is like burrowing into deep old like physics, high school physics class. But I always remember it because it reminds me of a kitty cat because it's Q, right, which is the amount of energy you need,
change in heat
equals M, the mass, times C, the specific heat capacity of the substance, times delta T, change in temperature. So
how's that a cat?
It looks like MCAT.
Because the delta is an A. Okay, yeah.
It always looks like a little A, even though if you're Greek, it would be a D.
Oh, that's cute.
I
like that. That's a good mnemonic. All right, so the specific heat we need of water is 4.184 joules per gram Celsius. Mass of the urine. Do you remember how much mass an adult can carry? And we're assuming, of course, this bard, because you, the bard, were just drinking a bunch of mead, so you really have to pee.
Right. Was it... Wait, it was like volume, like 700 milliliters,
700
right?
milliliters. So you really got to pee. You have the most pee you could possibly have. I'm trying to give you every way to solve this problem.
I appreciate it.
You're changing in temperature from body temperature. So water stored in the bladder or urine stored in the bladder is body temperature. So you're at 37 Celsius and you're going to 0, roughly. So, you're trying to get your water to equalize with the ice as best as possible. So we need to know how much, I guess, how many joules that would create or that would need.
Right.
So you run it through and you get that hot 700 milliliters of urine contains about 108,000 joules of heat energy, which is a lot. I mean, humans are, we're warm. We're not super hot, but we're warm.
Well, I'm pretty hot.
I know you are.
There's a different equation for when the material is changing phase.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you're melting ice, it's not getting warmer, which is trippy, right? It's not going from like 0 C to 1.
Yeah.
It's staying at 0, but it's changing phase and absorbing energy.
Yeah.
And so there's a different equation for that.
Man, you're smart.
Oh,
that's right.
You.
There's the Q equals M, and then there's a different phase depending on whether it's going to a gas or to a liquid or freezing or thawing or whatever.
Right.
So it's like
latent heat of vaporization and latent heat of fusion.
Yep.
And fusion's the one we want here for our block of ice with our key.
Exactly. So it's Q equals the mass times the latent heat of fusion. It's basically like you go to a table and you look it up. And it is 334 for water. So 700 milliliters of, I guess it would actually be less. It'd be 325 milliliters of ice. No, it depends on how big our block is. We're gonna just say 700. We're gonna assume the block is 700 milliliters. Keep it simple, so you can tell how much of the ice you can melt with your 700 milliliters. And that we get 234,000 joules required. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, so almost double, a little more than double. So, assuming perfect conditions, an oversimplification of actual physics, 700 milliliters of 37 Celsius water could reduce about half, like a 350 milliliter of ice to liquid, which would be about one softball, like a couple baseballs, half a cup of 20-ounce liquid ice. So, could Julian the Bard melt the ice? Roll your die. Let's find out.
Natural 20,
Shut
baby!
the front door!
Let's
No!
go! Let's go,
Oh,
Pete!
man. All right. As you're unbuttoning your complex fantasy world outfit in order to access your peeing organs, the door behind you is groaning under the weight of Zardarok's Sunblight, who is normally dwarf-sized but has cast some kind of underdwarven magic, so you can hear that he has grown to at least 2 or 3 times his normal size. So you gesture to Pepierre, who runs to the skeleton to grab a flagon that she saw there earlier and pushes the ice block off the pedestal, chipping it a bit, then lifts it into the flagon. You then pee into the flagon, so you don't have to worry about your aim, 700 milliliters of hot, bardy urine. Mead fuel.
The best urine.
You get all of your urine in there and melt enough of the ice to access the key.
Woo! It's kind of gross. It's kind of unsanitary, as we've established. Okay, I go to unlock the door.
You unlock the door. Just as you do, the door behind you bursts open as the pike bends, and a 5 times normal-sized Zardarok Sunblight screams and runs into the room. And because of the square cube law, its volume and mass have increased exponentially, which is pretty cool. See previous episodes. But you escape through the door.
Woohoo!
You did it.
Wow. And I only suffered a point of damage from my own incompetence.
And somewhat intoxication.
Yeah, a little bit. Column A, column B.
I did have, if you had rolled a 1 when peeing, that you peed on yourself also. and then
died, and then was murdered.
Pepierre makes a disgust noise. But that Zardarok Sunblight would think it was funny and that he hadn't laughed in a while. So he takes the medallion from you and leaves you there to die. But before doing so, pees in those barrels that are in the corner so you can use those to get to the key. Because I wanted you to have a way to get.
Wow, you had it all planned out. Look at you, like some sort of master of this dungeon I was in. That was super fun.
I'm so glad.
When we starting our D&D podcast, like everybody else.
It was a lot of work, you guys.
I bet. I bet it was.
Anyway, thanks, Luke, for asking your question, and thanks to the kiddos for thinking of such a creative way of getting out of their troubles.
Next time, Luke, if you want to deal some damage, electrify the block of ice.
I actually started looking into that, and I was like, this could be interesting.
If I had rolled a natural 1, that would have been the...
Yeah, ouch. Anyway, let's take a quick break and come back with Julian's question. Hey friends, Trace here. I took this photo from my backyard.
Whoa! That's so cool.
I legit gasped at the picture. It's nuts. As many of you know, I host an astronomy show when I'm not doing this podcast. And the thing is, I don't actually own a telescope, or I didn't.
I don't host an astronomy show, but I also don't have a telescope, so that's more excusable.
Well, I have one now. I got the Dwarf 3 by Dwarf Lab. It's a smart telescope, and I have to tell you, this thing is absolutely incredible. And if you want to pick one up, just go to link.that'sabsurdshow.com/dwarf.
You have been sharing images in our Slack channel for the podcast, and we are all collectively jealous.
Oh my God.
Every time there's another cool photo of stars.
Yeah. I am super into it. Every clear night, I'm like, oh, it's a clear night? I'm going to go get the telescope. I'm so excited. So,
yeah, you're like, I'm going to leave it on top of my car.
That's what I do.
You know, Trace, I was looking into, getting into astrophotography or just stargazing, and traditional telescopes were kind of making my head melt a little bit. Like, you've got to learn about azimuths and right ascension in order to find things, and then you take hundreds of dim images, and then you spend hours in some software on your desktop, and you combine them with Python scripts and image editors.
And that's one of the things that drew me to this one specifically, because the Dwarf 3, it does all of that automatically. The first time I used it, I set it down on top of my car, like Julian said. I turned it on and I opened up their app. And all I had to do, it has a little atlas inside the app. You say Pleiades and it goes bzzz, and it calibrates and finds it. It can track all sorts of objects.
I don't think I'm smart enough to be a traditional telescope haver. But since seeing what you've done with your Dwarf 3, I want want it.
I took pictures of the Heart Nebula and the Monkey Head Nebula and the Orion Nebula and all sorts of different things. It really helps you make like a connection with the sky. And the key is the dual camera system, which makes it super versatile. It has a telephoto and it also has a wide angle.
The dual camera also makes it look like a friendly robot from an 80s movie, and I like that about it.
Yeah, it does. It really does look like a friendly robot.
I'm anthropomorphizing your telescope.
Also, doesn't just take astronomy photos. You can track birds or get, pictures of them. You can take panoramic photos. It'll stitch them together. It includes solar filters, so I did point it to the sun to look at sunspots, which was cool. It's Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, so you could, ostensibly sit inside on your couch and stargaze, which I admittedly did do. Go to link.thatsabsurdshow.com/dwarf, and the link tells them that we sent you. It's also down in the show notes. I'm really looking forward to my next trip so that I can take this with me. It's so small. It's only like the size of a hardcover book. It weighs about 3 pounds or a little more than a kilo.
So can I borrow it and you ship it to me?
I mean, I could definitely, we could just...
I want to have fun looking at the stars.
We got to just find a time we can meet up and we can all look at the stars, and then I'll just take it home again.
Okay. I mean, maybe I'll take it home. Maybe this time.
Just get your own, Julian, at link.thatsabsurdshow.com/dwarf.
That's a great idea, Trace.
Anyway, back to the show. I'm going to go take some more pictures of the stars because it's great. And welcome back, fellow adventurers, to That's Absurd, Please Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. I didn't have a lot of time to come up with a new name.
That's an absurd dungeon.
Please dragon it.
Please the dragon. With a flagon of mead.
Oh, flagons. Julian, thank you for bearing with me during my first time ever being a dungeon master in the previous segment.
Won't be the last, I think,
hope
between us. I think we've started a new thing here.
I love it. Okay. But now let's move on to your question. What, Julian, was your question?
So my question this week is from Jesse, and Jesse actually sent us a voice note.
Hi guys, my name's Jesse, and I live in Kansas City, Missouri. Now, I'm a big fan of chickpeas, who isn't, but I've noticed that they have a tendency to explode when you heat them up in the microwave. So I was wondering why this happens particularly with chickpeas, and taking it to the only logical extreme, my question is, could you make an explosive out of chickpeas? One that could do damage to your microwave or anything else. Love the podcast. Thanks for answering my question.
I'm gonna be on some sort of government list after this question.
Excellent. Thank you, Jesse.
I just know it. But thank you, Jesse. KC Jesse. Okay, all right, Jesse. I looked into this. If I am on some sort of list now, this is on you.
This is such a good question. I'm so happy.
But I did look into it. So I start where I think we all begin. I'm going to let y'all peek behind the curtain a little bit. Sometimes there's not a lot of magic to what we do. Sometimes it's literally just punching it in on the old internet machine and then following the rabbit hole. I had an inkling, a theory of what would be happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to just double check. So I type it in, and I started getting results saying that chickpeas arc in the microwave. If you've got metal and it touches the wall and it caught. I know, and that was not what I was expecting. And I was like, is this what Jesse's talking about? So I went out at 11 at night because that's when I was doing this. I went to my nearest grocery store and I bought chickpeas.
Stop it.
To test this theory.
Did you?
To test what was going on.
What?
Yeah, just because, I had to see for myself because I'm finding things on the internet saying they spark, and I'm like, that I've never heard of that. I'd be surprised.
I just went to their Wikipedia page. I'm sorry to interrupt. Chickpea is a garbanzo bean?
I was going to say that!
They're the same thing?
I didn't know! I was in the store, and I was looking for both canned, wet chickpeas, and I found those. And then I'm looking for dried chickpeas just to be thorough.
Garbanzo.
And all I'm finding are dried garbanzo beans.
What?
And I'm like, these look an awful lot like chickpeas. And then I check the chickpea can, and on the other side, it says garbanzo. And I had a, kind of life-changing moment in this grocery store. I'm like, how did I make it so far without knowing that they are one and the same? But you made it farther.
Oh.
You just had a birthday and you still...
Oh, no.
I know. Okay.
What?
Garbanzo is the Spanish name for
I
chickpea.
Googled it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I didn't know that either. I didn't.
That's annoying.
Okay? It's annoying, too, because it's like one we call a bean and the other we call a pea. Like, come on. Which is it? Make up your mind, you know?
Yeah. I'm sorry to derail your whole experiment here, though, because, geez.
No. I was going to bring it up. I have in my notes, maybe I'm dumb, but I didn't know that chickpeas and garbanzo
We're the same
were,
thing.
in fact,
Well, if you learn
one
one
and the
thing
same.
from this, other than Julian can roll a nat 20 when he needs to pee on something, which I'm not surprised by at all, just a little disappointed. Yeah. Garbanzo beans and chickpeas are the same thing.
They are the same thing. And regardless, chickpeas are legumes. If you're even more specific, they're in the family of what are called pulses. They're a pulse where you eat the pea part of the. I know. Listen,
All right.
I don't want to get into food categorization because
yeah.
every time we do,
Just
like,
go listen to whatever episode that was.
my brain just becomes, that like joke of like a wind-up monkey toy smashing symbols together. Like that's what happens every time we start going into like, what is this food? But anyway,
Go listen to episode 19. Are nuts actually fruit pits?
yeah, you'll have all the
Satisfy
specific
all
pedantic
of that.
fruit, nut, pea categorization you could possibly want. I don't want to get into it here. Okay, but here's what I was thinking though. So I bought the wet garbanzo beans and the dried chickpeas, and I brought them home, and I put them on a plate in my microwave separately.
And what happened?
I burned some dry garbanzo beans after several minutes of microwaving. Nothing really interesting happened there. But the chickpeas I popped in, and after several minutes, sure enough, one at a time would just start going and bursting and releasing a big cloud of steam. And that's pretty much confirms what I was suspecting would happen, which is the microwave is heating up the water inside the chickpea until it vaporizes. Oh, hey, look, there's that latent heat of vaporization phase change thing again.
Hey.
It's like we planned it.
Almost.
We sure planned it, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did make that happen.
Yeah, we did.
That for this episode, the MCAT Q
Yeah.
little episode.
Yep. Anyway, so we phase change this liquid into a gas, and it's going to now have a greater volume. It's going to put pressure on the chickpea. It'll build up, especially as it gets hotter, because that's also related, right? Like as the little water molecules get more energy and they're bouncing around faster, they're putting more pressure on the inside of this chickpea until eventually, pop, it bursts out of the wall of the chickpea and makes a little popping pea. The same thing's happening with popcorn. Same thing's happening if you put like a egg in the microwave. If you don't poke a hole or whatever to vent out this
The steam
gas that's building up.
That makes sense.
It'll
The
burst,
popcorn,
right?
I think I can picture obviously a lot better because I'm more experienced with putting popcorns, not so much eggs, in the microwave. But yeah, okay.
I don't know. I was looking in the course of my research. Somebody was like, "How do you keep chickpeas from popping when you microwave them?" And I'm like, "Is this a common problem?" And somebody was like, "Same way you do with an egg." Like a sunny side up egg. And I'm like, who are these people? Anyway.
Yeah, microwaving eggs. Wow. Okay.
All that is to say that, like, the chickpea in the microwave is not a very effective explosive, right? Like, you're not getting a lot of energy there.
Come on.
But, Jesse, I didn't stop there. I didn't call it quits on that. No. Because you didn't ask specifically, okay, can I make an explosive with microwaves and a chickpea?
No.
You just said an explosive out of chickpeas.
Right.
And you know what, Jesse?
You myth-busted it, didn't you?
I think you can do it.
What?
With some chemistry.
Oh, chemistry. Chemistry,
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
do that.
And
chemistry.
Here's where it started for me. And that is, I remembered, because my brain is basically a repository for useless facts, that peanuts were an ingredient in dynamite.
What? No.
Yes. Yeah. No.
No way. Don't
Yeah.
believe it.
Oh, I'm gonna make you believe.
All right,
it.
make me.
I'm gonna make
me believe it.
I'll blow up your house with some dynamite if you don't.
I hope not. I don't own
Some
this house
peanut
anymore.
made dynamite. Okay, so peanuts, as you recall, also legumes,
Mhm.
right? They're in that same family, but that's actually really not super important because let's talk about fats.
Fats.
Okay.
Fats.
So fats.
Domino.
So not the musician.
Okay. Not the musician Fats Domino.
Not
with
no,
his
like the
seminal
the
hit Blueberry
physical
Hill.
molecule of that is fats.
Okay, lipids.
Okay.
Got it.
Yes. So lipids, and specifically we're going to talk about triglycerides.
Okay.
Okay. So I think you already see where
No,
this is going.
please
But
continue. Yes, elaborate.
for
on
those who haven't, the spark hasn't been lit yet. The fuse isn't
that.
lit.
Stop it.
Okay. So the main constituent of body fats in us, vertebrates in general, and vegetables, they're triglycerides.
Yeah.
Okay. If you break down the word, tri means 3, and that's because there are 3 chains of fatty acids, which are just like carbons and hydrogens all chained together, and then they have like a little acid group at the end. And then that acid group bonds onto glycerol. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So glycerol, it's the chemical formula. It's C3H8O3. It's basically just like a little chain of carbons, and then on 3 different points, it's got a little alcohol group, an OH, right? And so it forms like this kind of like wire frame that you can attach these 3 glycerides onto, and bam, you've got like some energy storage if you're an animal or a plant, right?
Yeah.
So it's very, very common. What you can do, though, is actually separate that glycerol from the fatty acids with actually some very common chemistry ingredients. It's actually not that difficult. Now, I say it's not difficult. That does not mean that it is safe.
Oh, man.
Please don't do this at
Got
home.
it. Yes.
If you do it, it's on you.
Or
Just going to throw that out there right now. I
absolve
absolve myself of any responsibility if you decide that you're going to mess around with chemistry in your basement or whatever. Okay, but all you really need is methanol, which is toxic, so careful
Don't do
with
that.
it. You need sodium hydroxide, which is also known as lye,
Yeah.
which is very, very basic, so don't
Eat it,
don't
touch it.
mishandle that. Don't eat it, please.
Yep.
And hydrochloric acid, which is a very strong acid. So again, please don't do this.
Just don't.
Don't do
Just
this.
don't do it.
Anyway.
You also need magic, which you can't have at home. Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh no, the D&D playing family is gonna be like, we'll see about that. Okay. So all you really need, though, is like a vegetable oil that's high in triglycerides, and you can break it down using these ingredients and then neutralize it, and you can be left with glycerol, which is like a clear, kind of oily-looking substance. And glycerol is also known as glycerin.
Oh.
And does glycerin call to mind anything?
Yup.
When we're talking about explosives.
Every cartoon I've ever seen about the early 20th century when they're like, I've got this jar and I can't drop it or it'll go poorly for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So glycerin isn't explosive, but it's also not that far away from nitroglycerin,
Right.
which is also easy to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which again, don't.
Don't do it.
Don't. Just because it's easy doesn't
Don't
mean you
do
should.
it.
Okay. But if you take this glycerol, if you mix it with a mixture of nitric acid and sulfuric acid, you can transfer the nitro groups onto the glycerol.
Yeah.
But it's dangerous to do it because nitroglycerin ignites at 50 degrees Celsius. It's not very warm. And the process of making nitroglycerin releases heat. So you can, if you aren't careful about how you do this, it'll warm up enough to just ignite itself.
Yeah.
So
And blow you up.
So don't.
Don't do it.
Please. Blow you up and blow up the container that has like 2 strong acids
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't.
Just don't
again,
do it.
Don't.
Don't do it.
But it's not that hard. I'm just saying. By the way, I found some fantastic YouTube channels that actually did make glycerol and nitroglycerin. It was very cool. Shout out to Red Nile. He was the one who made the glycerol. He started with 800 milliliters of vegetable oil, but he ended up with just 24 milliliters of glycerol. So not a huge yield from that.
Yeah.
you know?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the long chains of fatty acids are going to take up a lot of space in your liquid,
Yeah.
and the glycerol is just like a little tiny molecule. And there's 3 fatty acids for every single little glycerol.
Yeah.
So anyway, nitroglycerin is the fundamental component of dynamite.
Right. So what I was thinking of, I'm thinking more of like when your dynamite sticks are sweating, that would be bad because they sweat the nitroglycerin out.
Yeah.
Of their mixture.
That makes sense. Do you know who invented dynamite, by the way?
Yes. Alfred Nobel.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why we have the
Alfred
Nobel Prize, because he was like, I need to do good things because, man, oh man, this stuff has been used in ways that I'd never anticipated.
That's right. So Alfred Nobel's invention of dynamite was a big breakthrough because nitroglycerin is very dangerous to handle. It's very unstable. It catches fire at 50 degrees. It explodes at 200, but it also can explode if you just give it a good shock.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was nuts. The people who made this nitroglycerin that I watched, they would just put a little tiny droplet on like an anvil and hit a drop of liquid with a hammer, and the liquid would explode, which is kind of trippy to look at and think about. Like you don't think of liquids blowing up, but it did.
Yeah.
And the way that Alfred Nobel solved this was he used basically some soil that had like clay or the skeletons of diatoms, which are little microscopic sea algae that have like glass skeletons, little silica skeletons. And he poured the nitroglycerin into this and it stabilized it. So if it got a shock, it wouldn't propagate as easily through it and like actually cause the nitroglycerin to explode. And then you wrap it up and then you put like a little blasting cap in it and boom.
TNT stick.
You have dynamite. Aha! But it's not the same as TNT.
Sorry. You're right.
Yes. I was going to get to that, and I'm glad you brought it up, because a lot of people use TNT and dynamite interchangeably. Chemically, they are different. TNT actually is like the initialism for what it is, which is trinitrotoluene. And the trinitro tells you a lot. It's actually similar in that way to dynamite, because both of them have these 3 nitro groups. And what that allows for is normally when you burn something or you want to make something explode, you need to combine oxygen with carbon. But this chemical formula provides its own oxygen for the explosion.
Oh,
the
cool.
oxygen's attached to the nitrogen.
Very efficient.
Yeah. So it can work like underwater or something. So the oxygen that's attached to the nitrogen quickly pairs up with the carbons in like the central molecule of dynamite and TNT, or the hydrogens to make water, or the nitrogens also bind with the other nitrogens to make N2.
Yeah.
All these things are going to be turned into gas pretty much immediately. And like our chickpea in the microwave, when we have a lot of gas, that very energetic hot gas forming quickly, it's going to expand, and it's going to be enough that it's an explosive expansion.
Man, all that stuff that I said about dynamite, I might have just been thinking of TNT. I honestly now have no idea. I have things to read. I'm going to have to go read it up. I knew that dynamite was Nobel, but in terms of like the sweating one and the like, all this, I don't even know if any of that's true.
Well, it would make sense that the dynamite would be the one sweating, because like I said, it's just like some soil with some nitroglycerin in it. So if it sweats, that probably be the one that does it.
Bad.
TNT, it's interesting. The explosive yield from TNT is a little lower than dynamite, but it's more useful for military applications because it takes a little bit longer to actually explode once it's like triggered. So it allows, if it's on like the tip of an artillery shell or warhead or something, it allows the explosive to burrow deeper into whatever it's hitting. And so when it blows apart, the energy goes into the structure and does more damage. Dynamite, because it explodes so quickly, it kind of just
it's more of like
hits the
cut.
outside.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like, we used to have a show back in the day on Revision 3 that was all about explosives. And they talked about some explosives are heaving explosives. They like move slowly, but they can push a lot of energy. Then there are cutting explosives. So it sounds to me like I don't know, but it sounds like dynamite might be more of a cutting explosive, and maybe TNT is more of a heaving explosive because it pushes things out of the way. I don't know. But that was just how I heard these explosives experts talking about explosives. And I'm like, never heard of it. Never thought about that. It's really interesting.
I want to be friends with explosives experts.
Yeah.
That sounds like a blast.
Hey, they'll blow your mind.
Anyway.
Yeah, please elaborate.
Okay. So where do chickpeas fit all in this? Like, that is the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Jesse's asking in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Well, peanuts, like we talked about, they were in fact used as a component for dynamite. If you press peanuts and get the oil, you can turn the triglycerides in that oil into glycerol, into nitroglycerin, and then dynamite.
Yeah.
Peanuts are great for this because they have a high fat content. Apparently, they're about 49% fat.
No wonder they're so yummy.
Yeah. So they're great. They're categorized, not to get into it too much again, as oil seeds because you can make so much oil so easily from peanuts. Chickpeas, not so much. According to the can of chickpeas that I bought for my experiment, there's 122 grams in a serving size, and 2 of those grams are fat.
Oh.
And that's also going to include like the lipids in the cell membranes which are not triglycerides. They're not going to have that glycerol component that we need. So you're going to get very little glycerol if you were to like press chickpeas and then turn it into
that wouldn't really work.
Nitroglycerin.
There's not a lot of fat.
But there is some.
So it's not none.
Right? It's not none. The main fat storage component in chickpeas is triglycerides.
Okay.
Right? So it's there.
So we could.
You would just need, relative to the amount of peanuts you would use for the same amount of nitroglycerin, you would need 30 times more chickpeas by mass. But it's not impossible. In fact, it's quite possible. So, Jesse, to answer your question, could you make an explosive out of chickpeas? The answer is yes. You can make dynamite.
You can make dynamite.
You would just need a lot of chickpeas. Cool.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's neat. You know, this makes me think, sadly.
What?
If you're a wizard in Dungeons and Dragons, but you also know chemistry, you could do so much stuff.
I mean, isn't chemistry's part of like normal wizardry training, right?
I mean, like Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings type wizardry is a bit of magic, and then also there's some chemistry involved. But I'm talking about if you're a wizard who understands the intricacies of chemistry, you could pull the glycerol out of the oils in the room you're in, mix them with nitrogen, and make dynamite in the room, using the stuff in the like. You could use the stuff in your room to do all sorts of cool chemical things.
Well, you remember I said
magic.
Triglycerides, they're the main component of in fats.
You could also take them
people
out of people, yes.
And animals.
But look, I'm not that evil. I'm not that much.
I don't know. If I think you'd have to roll a natural 20, but I would be like, I turn the monster's fat into nitroglycerin.
I have a feeling you might need to roll more than one natural 20 to get it to work. Depending on your dungeon master, maybe they'd be like, well, first you'd need to pull the triglycerides out of them, then you'd need to transmute those, and then you'd need to add nitrogen.
I dissolve them in lye.
Like, Bard, poop immediately. I need your poop. Use your urea.
This Bard's only function is bodily functions.
Bodily functions. As that's
typically
a bard in the parties that I play, because it's fun to be a dumb bard. It's just like, what am I going to do? I don't know.
I love that you picked bard for me. I was like, perfect, no notes.
We just a couple of bards here with the podcast.
That'd be a bad bard with no notes, but yeah.
A couple of bards in a podcast. That's us.
2 guys walking to a bard.
Wow. So, this episode was clearly brought to you by the Formula MCAT. Thank you all for listening to this episode of That's Absurd. Please elaborate. I especially want to thank our two question askers, Luke and Jesse. Special thanks to any other listeners who have submitted questions to us. We are reading them as fast as we can. We're getting so many questions, and we are laughing out loud and like pointing at the sky and going, what the heck? And just doing all sorts of stuff. So thank you for sending those questions in. We are going to get to as many as we can. And this show was created, written, and produced by me, Trace Dominguez.
And me, Julian Huguet.
And of course, it was also produced and edited by our friend, the wonderful and wonderfully talented Kyle Sisk. I'm going to go lawful good for Kyle.
Yeah, but he's the actual bard in the group. He's like the musician and sound engineer.
He's a wizard. I think he's a wizard.
Okay. Our bard
sure.
He's multi-class.
Yeah, definitely multi-class. If you'd like to submit a question for That's Absurd, please elaborate. You can look down in the show notes. That's most of our show notes. You can email us at hello@that'sabsurdshow.com. You can visit our website, that'sabsurdshow.com, and go to the Ask a Question tab. Or you can call our phone number, 302-TAPE-SHOW, TAPSHO, and leave us a voicemail. Also, please leave us a review wherever you are listening right now. Reviews tell other people who haven't tried the show yet that it's worth their time. And hopefully you think it is, because you're listening to me say this right now. So leave us a star, a heart, a follow, whatever it is. And again, thank you very much for asking your questions. Hi, Trace again from the future, here where the fun never ends and the dehumidifiers never stop. I want to jump in and say thank you to our absurd administrators, Adam, Les, Austin, Jonathan, Dan, Sabrina the Brain, Hannah, Apothecarian, Christina, and Atomic Straw, and also give a happy anniversary to some of our ridiculous researchers and absurd administrators, Adam, Ashley, Austin, Les, and the Brain. So happy anniversary to you. Most of you are over 1 year. You're at 18 months of support. I can't even believe it. Honestly, we didn't even have a Patreon when this episode was recorded. I'm just so happy that you all are patrons and that you are sticking with us and supporting the show for as long as you have. I love you. Thank you. And also thank you to our newest Patreon subscribers, Charlie Victor, The Strange Islander, and Finji77. We really appreciate you joining the Patreon. Now you get to vote on questions. You can do all sorts of really fun things. Julian is always in there interacting and making sure that everybody on the Patreon feels heard and has so much fun being there. And I jump in sometimes too. And it's the best. Thank you so much for being a part of our world, to quote Aladdin, I think. Wait, is that? No, that's Little Mermaid. Okay, I'm going off the rails. Time to go back to the dehumidifying and let the other past us finish the episode. Thanks again.
A special thanks, last of all, to those listening on Nebula. Nebula listeners get access to ad-free versions of episodes, and they even support us and other independent creators. So to join Nebula, visit go.nebula.tv/that'sabsurdshow.
Well, and at the end of every episode, as we always say, every time, if you're trapped in a dungeon, get some chickpeas. But peanuts would be better. I don't know.
Pray for peanut oil. If you need to melt ice, you're in trouble.
As we always say. The most explosive thing in the universe
is the mind. Oh, that's a good slogan. I'm glad we came up with it.
Me too.
Then we've been saying it every episode. Good slogans.